Ooh. What's up, Metal Art? What's up, Nukem? What's that say? What's up, Bizzle? I, I ain't heard that in a long, I ain't heard that in a long time. What's up, Bizzle? I ain't heard that in a long time. Well, let a few people get in here. Yeah, I know, right? Nukem ain't seen in a long time. What's up, Bizzle? My shizzle. What's up, my shizzle, my zizzle? Oh man, I ain't gonna be on here long. I say that every time we end up, but I really ain't gonna be on here long. But what I am gonna do is, man, went on vacation for. Oh, okay, cool, cool beans. Uh, so it came a little shower again last night. I gotta go get a haircut. Um, it came a little shower last night. We got two 2 3/4 inches of rain last night. Yesterday evening, about 7:30, 8 o'clock, somewhere around there, plus or minus. I checked the rain gauge this morning, and yep, I dump the rain gauge out every day when I go in the house. So when I go in the house for the day, I walk by and I dump the rain gauge out. So if it rains in the middle of the night, I see how much rain we got. And we got 2.75, which is 2 3/4. That's 2, 3, the little line, and the 4. If you want the decimals, that's 2.75 of rain. So just almost a little less. So, all right. So I'm gonna let y'all know something. I'm gonna give y'all. I'm gonna share something with y'all, right? And this is for educational purposes only. YouTube, educational purposes only. This is all public record. You can look it up and you can read it. Okay. It's rained every day, man, for like a week straight. All right, so this is for educational purposes. Um, Build on a Budget commented on one of my things when I was talking about, there is a waterway dug under some stuff, blah, 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 and they still getting fresh water ever since like 700 BC or something or whatever. And and then like the cypress tree that's like 3,000 years old or 2,000 years old or something. He's like, man, where in the world would you find that stuff at? I go down the rabbit hole. So, um, what does Coca Cola, Christmas time, and Santa Claus and Kris Kringle and the Catholic Church, what all does that have in? What does all that have in common? Santa Claus, Kris Kringle, the Catholic Church, Coca Cola, and Christmas. What all does that have in common? I'm going to tell you. Back 125 years plus or minus, Coca Cola, the reason why Coca Cola was called Coca Cola is because it had cocaine in it, right? Cocaine, Coca Cola. And they sold it for about a nickel in the summertime. And their advertisement was headache, blah, blah, exhaustion, blah, blah, blah. It was like pep in your step and all that stuff, right? So people would drink Coca Cola in the summertime because it was a nickel and it had cocaine in it. All right. So with that being said, nobody nobody actually bought Coca Cola in the wintertime. So what did the advertisement PR gurus at Coca Cola did? Well, eventually they had to take Coke out of Coca Cola. So they couldn't change their name because the name was so good, Coca Cola. Now over the years it's dropped down to Coke and stuff like that, but Coca Cola. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? But now they had to have something to kind of promote the sales, because now the sales in the summertime have went down because it don't have cocaine in it, and they wanted to try to sell Coca Cola more year round. So what did they do? They said, let's see. What was the biggest holiday of the year back then? Was Easter. Not Christmas, not Hanukkah, not Kwanzaa. Easter, right? Easter was more important. So they was trying to figure out how to sell. Now I'm paraphrasing, but you can go look up the whole article and read it. They was trying to figure out a way how to sell Coca-Cola in the winter, in the wintertime. So what they did was, like Newcomb said, they invented Santa Claus. And how did they invent Santa Claus? Well, the Catholic Church had a saint, Saint Nicholas, that wasn't doing anything saintly wise, so they decided to fire him. So I don't know how you get fired from being a saint. Hadn't saved nobody in a while and hasn't done anything in a while. So they fired him. Well, since they fired him, Coca-Cola decided they would pick him up, and then they would take Kris Kringle. Now, Kris Kringle was a thief. He was a chimney sweep. He was a thief in the middle of the night. He would actually dislocate his shoulders and slide down your chimney, steal all your stuff, and come back out. And he had these brown and green and sooty clothes. So what they did, and he was small, thin, blah, blah, blah. So what did Coca-Cola do? They took Kris Kringle and they made Santa Claus. Well, they had to do something to him. So what did they do? They made him fat. They put pink rosy cheeks on him. And they put him in red and white, which is miraculously the same color as a Coca-Cola. And they put him out there of all this joy and happiness. And they go, hey, look, this figure, Santa Claus, is delivering all these presents in one night. And he's doing it all by drinking Coca-Cola. I guess all that caffeine is keeping him going. So, they invented Santa Claus, put him in red and white, put about 300 pounds on him, made him white-headed, white beard, put a little pink rose blush on his cheeks, and he's the best thing since sliced bread. And he's like, now, this person goes around in the middle of the night on Christmas, right, and drinks Coca-Cola and brings you presents. When he used to steal presents, now he's bringing you presents. So, by doing that, that economically shifted Easter from being the most celebrated time to shifting the whole dynamic to Christmas. Right? To Christmas. So then the Jews felt left out because they're looking over here going, hey, we want something too. So they started getting down together, and then they figured out how to promote Hanukkah. And then there's Kwanzaa. And then everybody else around the world is trying to figure out how to promote their something around their stuff. I don't want to get too deep into it because I don't want to get flagged. But this is all public record. It's the biggest advertising dynamic in business. Coca Cola invented Santa Claus and pushed it around the winter. When's the best time to do it around winter? Christmas time. Put that sun gun about 300, 400 pounds heavier. Put him in red and white, which is the same colors of Coca Cola. Made him long beard, rosy cheeks, and done that. So, yeah, that's that. Yeah, that U.S. all day. You exactly right, and it's all based off of pagan. Everything is based off of pagan. This is for educational purposes. I'm not pushing one way or the other YouTube, so don't flag me. Nobody ban me. Nobody do anything to this. This is all. You can go pick up a history book and you can read this. Every bit of this. Every holiday is around pagan. Every single holiday. But then you got people screaming, we're not celebrating pagan, it's the devil. Well, the Christmas tree is pagan. The Christmas the Christmas tree is pagan. And you put Christmas trees up and you put all these decorations on it. Uh, so so I mean that's what gets me. I mean that really what gets me. Now this ain't about religion or nothing like that. This is just the dynamics of advertisement and how to if you just keep putting something in somebody's face over and over again, like damn man, I want a Coca Cola. So damn, I want a Coca Cola, and that's why it's just bam, 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 bam. They say that you have to see something 13 times in advertising before it will register in your brain to imprint. How many times you seen Santa Claus in a commercial drinking a Coca Cola, riding on top of a damn tractor trailer? So I thought the pine trees, Lord have mercy. That's funny, pine soul. So yeah, and here's the thing. Here's something else. Since Nukem wants to bring in Christian, there's nowhere in the Bible, nowhere in the Bible where it says were you a Christian. I get my friends that are I want to say they call people Bible thumpers. I don't push religion, but I'm very educated in it. We can have a private conversation, and I can tell you scriptures. I can tell you everybody's family history. I can tell you who was married to who had whose concubine had what youngin, who offspring with this. I can tell you every bit of that. I know all of it. Know it very well. Know it very well. But not when somebody says, "Hey man, what are you?" Oh, I'm a Christian. Yeah. Well, what is that? Well, I'm a Christian. Well, how are you a Christian? Well, because that's what the Bible tells me. Well, where in the Bible does it say you're a Christian? Where in the Bible does it say you're a Christian? There's nobody in the Bible that was Christians. They were disciples. I see. I ain't gonna go down that. I'm not gonna go down that. Yeah, yeah, Dillard. Yeah, I ain't even gonna go. I ain't even. I don't want to get flagged, and I always say I don't talk religion, but I'll. So let's do this. I don't talk religion. I don't talk politics, but I'll talk history. How about that? Is that better? I'll teach history. I know the history of the Bible. Like I was telling you, the history of Coca Cola, how they took something and you can call it whatever you want to, manipulated something for the greater good, for the greater gain of their pocket. And that's what they did. Just like diamonds. Diamonds are nothing but rocks, shiny rocks. If you look up the history of diamonds or blood diamonds, diamonds are just rocks, just shiny ass rocks. They're nothing special. The industry, Jared's, like people, they made them worth what they're worth. They say you have to spend like 4 months' salary on a diamond ring for the woman that you're gonna get married. That is ridiculous. And see, you talk about Adam and Eve, the apple. There was no apple. Jay, you better stop. You fixing to make some people mad. There was no apple. If you actually read and study it, there was no apple. That's a whole nother thing. Yeah, they say USO. They say that you are to spend at least 3 to 4 months' salary on a ring. Yep, yep. I just want to get on here. This is part why conflict religions are so dumb. Different words. Yeah, so that's why I don't. Now we can talk education, we can talk history, we can talk that, but you believe what? Look, I just want to let everybody know. I appreciate everybody on here. There's 4,100 people on here, and I greatly appreciate it. And I know everybody has different beliefs, and I respect your beliefs 100%. If you believe in the Dalai Lama, I respect that. If you believe in Buddha, I respect that. If you believe in um, Allah, I believe that I respect that. If you believe in the Quran, I respect that. But the Quran is the first 7 or 8 books of Moses. I'm just saying. So, and then it's changed over the years. But I've studied all that in college, and I've extended college. I've extended it, and so whatever you believe in, if you believe in Buddhism, whatever, I respect that 100%. Me and you could sit together in these chairs, and we can bullshit, and we can talk, and we can laugh, and we can cut up, and we can sing Kumbaya, and whatever you want to do, because what you believe in that chair and what you believe in that chair doesn't affect me in this chair. I respect everybody, and I respect your beliefs. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the education of it, of how the Catholic Church fired a saint. Coca Cola took that saint, evolved that with a thief in the middle of the night, and invented Santa Claus so they could sell more Coca Cola because their sales went down because they took cocaine out of Coca Cola, so they had to figure out a way to make their money, to make their profit, to make their bottom end. So they invented a fictional character to promote Coca Cola, to promote a soft drinks. That, yeah, that. Appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, Warlock, hit that. Yeah, we're working on a bunch of stuff around here. Like I said, I'm not. This ain't nothing about religion or politics or nothing like that. This is just the history of advertisement and business. I thought that was one hell of a business model. They got in there super thinkers in there. I call them super thinkers. They get in there and they brainstorm and they say, hey, look, our sales are going down in Coca Cola because we had to take cocaine out of the Coca Cola, and it was a summertime drink. Got a headache? Drink a Coca Cola. Got a body ache? Drink a Coca Cola. These are advertisement signs. You can look these up. Belly hurting? Drink a Coca Cola. Body ache? Drink a Coca Cola. Headache? Drink a Coca Cola. Heat exhaustion? Drink a Coca Cola. It was because the cocaine was in it. But they had to take that out, so they had to figure out a way. They was only selling them for a nickel, making a killing. So they had to figure out a way to sell Coca Cola all year. So they took up an employee, a saint from the Catholic Church, like Matt said, or Newcomb said, hasn't done anything in 300-400 years, saved nobody. I guess not, he's dead. So they took Chris Kringle, which was a chimney sweep thief in the middle of the night. He would dislocate his shoulders and steal your stuff while you was asleep. And then added 300 pounds on him, put some rosy cheeks on him, put him in red and white, made him look all good, put him in front of some reindeers and said, ho, 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 drink a Coca-Cola. so, so, yeah, right there. So, yeah, metal art. See, that's what I look at, the history of it, the history of it. I mean, you know, Insky Cams, his birthday was yesterday or the day before. He just turned 104. 104. And when he started doing custom cams, because back in the day you had a custom cam, he would take a stock cam, make the profile he wanted, and then that would be the mother cam, and then he would take a cam grinder and he would make cams. He says that if he could do 5 cams at $5 a pop, that's $25 that he could make. And then he said, man, if I could do 5 cams a month when he first started. Then I mean, it's a long story, but then NASCAR reached out to him, you know, they reached out to him and they started buying 5 cams at a time. And then and like he said, there was no engineers or nothing back then because there was nobody, none of that shit existed. So he was like at the very beginning of everything, right? Just like Gene Winfield and all the rest of his people, you know, all these people, you know. So Insky, grandfather of cams, is 104 this week. 104. You know, just imagine all the crap that he's seen and has forgot. Right? Made him good when he was with his evil. Yeah. What's up, big fish? Yeah. So he sold them for $5 a piece. And then he said within a year they were selling a lot of cams for $5 a piece. Could you imagine? And he said that NASCAR said they needed to be max RPM at 5,500, and he figured that out because he changed the lobe separation and the lift. So the commercials back then was crazy, man, was crazy. Just like Coca Cola's commercial was crazy. You know, had on there, got a headache, drank a Coca Cola. Well, I mean, everybody was skied up all the time. I mean, everybody, you wasn't snorting Coke, you was drinking Coke. I thought it was, that's it. Yeah, it was $5 a day at $20 a pop. Oh, there's a video? Well, I appreciate the correction. I guess I misspoke. I read something in an article. I read it something in a magazine years ago. A matter of God, I probably got it in there in the cabinet somewhere. So I thought it was $5 a day at $20 a pop. That might be it. It was $5. Yeah. Either way, Newcomb's probably right. It's going pretty good. It's a little cool and damp this morning. We got about 2 3/4 inches of rain. I'm gonna finish this bracket on there, and on the square body, I got a new rotor cap. I said, man, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So I ordered a new rotor cap, plugs, wires, and a button. And I said, hell, we'll go ahead and order a new coil too. A new coil for that thing was only like $11. So might as well, you know, I'll keep the old one. I mean, I ain't gonna throw it away. And the distributor on those 4.3s on the distributor, there's 2 vents on the bottom of the distributor housing, and they get clogged up and they sweat on the inside of it. So what made me go down this rabbit hole was yesterday I was washing the engine and I pressure washed it, and I know to stay away from the distributor. Well, then I went about 2 hours after that. I went to go move the truck, and it acted like it was skipping, like and I was like, "Man, what in the world's wrong with this thing?" So it was skipping, and I was trying to figure out why it was skipping. And I was like, man, what in the world's on this thing? It would do fine. And I was like, man, this thing was fine. And then I think to myself, what's the last thing I did? I washed it. I bet the daggone distributor cap's wet. So I took the distributor cap up, and there was water under the cap. And then I was like, how's there water under the cap? I didn't actually spray the cap. I didn't spray the cap, but there was water underneath it. So if there's water in it, then there's either the O-ring's messed up or it's got a crack in it or something. So I'm like, what in the world, man? Sometimes we create our own problems and then we cry when it's raining, right? So I said, okay, fine, whatever. So I pulled the cap off and looked underneath it, and it's got a little surface rust, but that's typical on 4.3s. So I was like, fine. And I could see some white oxidation on the rotor cap, on the button and stuff like that. I said, you know what? And then I got to looking, and two of the wires were different from the rest of the wires, which is weird because we don't even want to get down there. But anyway, that's weird. So I got off the phone. I got off. It was about, I don't know, 6:30, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. I don't know. I called the parts store. I said, hey, look, this is what I need. I need it. I need a set of plugs. I need a set of wires. I need a cap. I need a rotor button. And how much is a coil? And they come back and said the coil's like $12 or $13. I'm like, really? And it's like, yeah. So I said, get all of it. So they had everything in stock except the wires. They said the wires would be here this morning at 9 o'clock. So I'm going to change the plugs, the wires, the rotor cap, the button, and the coil. Well, actually, let me tell you this, back. I'm going to change the cap, the rotor button, the wires, and the plugs. And I'm going to crank it up and see how it acts. If it still acts weird, they said the coil could have a crack in it too and got water into it and whatever. So I'm going to change the plugs, the wires, the cap, and the rotor button. And then I'm going to put dielectric grease inside the cap and on the housing of the distributor cap or the base. And I'm going to take brake clean and clean out the vents. There's two vents on the bottom of the distributor cap or distributor housing, the base plate of the housing. There's two vents, and they say dirt daubers and trash get in there. And what happens is the distributor cap cannot breathe on the inside and cannot breathe in the inside. I'll show you. Can't breathe in the inside. Can't breathe on the inside, and it'll surface, it'll sweat. So let me show you. See the vent? There's a vent right there, and there's a vent right there. See the surface rust? And there's the coil. So the coil's right there. So those vents get stopped up and it sweats. So I just ordered plugs, wires, coil, and all that. So, but y'all seen it run. Y'all seen it run the other day. I mean, it was running fine. You know, it was running fine the other day. When I done the oil cooler, fired right up, run, and that's the problem, electrical. It got wet. Yeah, hold on, let's see. There's the 54. Here's the box truck. Let me go over and turn the lights on. Gonna finish this. Gonna get this seat mounted today. Gonna get that mounted. Gonna get that seat mounted. And then I'm gonna change the plugs and wires on that stuff and get that up in there. And I'm gonna start building the metal floor. I got the sheet metal right there. Right there. Got the sheet metal right there. I'm gonna start building the floor. Start building the floor. Start building the raised bed floor. And go from there. Man, I tell you what, UPS is running early this morning, boys and girls. Been on in 30 minutes. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I'll go live again today and go back and check out some old videos of the colors and go from there. And remember I said, boys and girls, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the thumbs up. I'm gonna try to paint the hood this weekend too. Get that stuff done. Remember I said, boys and girls, hit the notification bell. Remember I said, don't worry about the man up the road or down the road. Sweep off your own front porch or sweep it on anybody else's. Put God first, let loose and drag, piece of them chicken grease them out. Let go. Can you do all this live today? Yeah, Jimmy. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it later today.